Hello, I'm here today to talk to you about the Voigtlander 75mm f2.5 Color-Heliar lens. This Leica thread mount short telephoto lens was one of the first lenses released with the launch of Sony's Voigtlander branded film camera line. It was discontinued in 2010 with the introduction of the 75mm f1.8 Heliar Classic. However, the 75mm f2.5 can still be purchased as new old stock from resellers such as CameraQuest in the USA. These sell for, at the time of filming, for the $690 mark US. They can also be easily bought second-hand on eBay for around $300. I bought this lens new in 2004 and put an LTM to M adapter on it to use with an M mount camera. I've now put an M to Sony NEX mount adapter on top of that. And if you're considering buying this lens, you need to factor in the purchase of an adapter as well if you don't already have one. When Sony revitalised and relaunched the Voigtlander line, they very much wanted to recreate the German engineering aesthetic as well as the optical qualities. So this modern lens has a definite 1950s look to it, with its beautiful all-metal construction. The focusing ring is scalloped and ribbed to enable you to get a secure grip on it, and has a lovely buttery 90-degree throw. The aperture ring is also ribbed, and it sits forward of the focusing ring, which is common on rangefinder lenses, and it is click-stopped at half-stop intervals, and that has a really nice, satisfying feel to it as well. The lens comes complete with a lens hood, and it, as well as the lens cap, are made of brass, as is the body of the lens. The lens hood is a push-on fit over the lens hood, and a particularly nice touch is the velvet strip inside the cap, which provides enough friction to stop the hood falling out of place. The lens hood and lens cap are finished in a very attractive gloss black. On second-hand models you may notice that the paint finish is wearing thin and the brass shows through. This isn't a defect, this does happen. I quite like it. I love the patina of age that it gives to the lens. The lens specifications are as follows. The mount, as I've said before, is Leica thread mount, or L39. The lens has 6 elements in 5 groups. It has 10 aperture braids, which will give really nice bokeh. The aperture range goes from f2.5 to f16, and the angle of view on a 35mm sensor is 32 degrees. The closest focusing distance is 1 metre. The filter size is a paltry 43mm, which is really noticeable if you've come from DSLR lenses, which have dinner plate sized filter sizes. Its length is 64.5mm, its diameter is 55.5mm, and the weight is 230 grams. And when you pick this lens up, it has a really, really dense feel to it, and it feels like a quality instrument in your hands. It is really a tactile experience. Let's talk about the image quality. Vignetting is present at f2.5, and that is to be expected really, but by f5.6 it has completely disappeared. Lateral or transverse chromatic aberration is present throughout the aperture range, but it is well controlled and very, very slight. It's easy to remove in Lightroom, as is the slight pincushion distortion using the lens correction profiles for Voigtlander lenses that you can find there. Wide open, the centre of the image is very, very sharp and contrasty, while the edges are a little softer and less contrasty. By f5.6, the corners are as sharp and contrasty as the centre. Diffraction starts to kick in at f11 and decreases the optical quality. There is some focus shift as the lens stops down. And also the lens breathes as you focus. This may put off potential video users. So in day-to-day use, how does the lens perform? Well, I must say the minimum focusing distance of 1 meter, which is very, very common for rangefinder lenses, does preclude its use for head and shoulders portraits, unless you use something like a Photodiox DLX stretch or the Voigtlander VME close focus adapters. Now, what these are is an adapter with a built-in variable extension ring, and these can adjust out to a maximum of around 4 millimeters, which enables you to focus as close as 0.65 of a meter. But if you do take half-length portraits, the lens renders the background out of focus beautifully when shot slightly stopped down at f2.8. The bokeh is lovely, it's nice and round, it's smooth, and there are lovely tonal transitions. This is a black and white worker's dream lens. It makes it great for street photography and events. The only fly in the ointment is that the total depth of field at f2.8, when focusing at a distance of around 1 meter, is something like 7 centimeters. And what I've found is when using my own Sony A7R, that the focus peaking function is just not accurate enough 100% of the time, and I was starting to get some out of focus pictures. So what I've done is I've assigned the punch in function to one of the custom buttons, and I just punch in the focus and just check it, and then I'm right to go. Despite what the armchair experts on DP Review says, it is possible to shoot moving subjects with manual focus lenses and the A7R. I went to a medieval fair recently, and I was able to shoot some action sequences of mounted archers and reenactments of medieval combat. Sometimes I used the technique of pre-focusing on a spot, and other times I used follow focus, and sometimes I used a combination of the both. But stopping down to somewhere between f5.6 and f8 gives a little leeway with focusing, and the smooth focusing action definitely helps as well. So in conclusion, what can I say? Well, there's no doubt about it. The Voigtlander 75mm f2.5 is not a sexy fast aperture lens, and ultimately this led to its downfall, and it was replaced by the 75mm f1.8. Consequently, it is ignored by many people, which is a great shame, because it is very well made and it performs very, very well indeed. If you like candid portraiture, you like street photography, then this lens is a no-brainer, even at the new price of $690. If you manage to score a deal for around the $280 to $300 US mark, then that is a screaming bargain, and I would say jump on it quickly. You won't be disappointed with this lens. It is a terrific little performer. Thank you for watching. I hope this proved to be informative for you, and I'll see you in the next video.